All right. Welcome back to another episode of Vulnerable. Hi, Joel.
Hi, Cory. Hi, Chris.
Hello.
Hey, we're gonna like
Just going to push you a little closer. Go ahead.
we're gonna have like a Dr. Phil moment. I mean, we're not going to, I'm back. I haven't been on Facebook in 12 years. You get on Facebook and everybody's life is all peachy and, and everybody, that's part of Facebook, is it not?
Right.
Make everything look peachy and your life is all peachy.
It's almost like fake.
So right now, we just got together on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a fucking shit show right now.
Yeah. We had an episode run and we had Ron Lance on, and it was
One of my favorites.
It was an awesome episode, and we lost the last 18 minutes. Potentially, we're waiting on the software that we use to see if they can pull it from the cloud services, and because he was, he has two 200-inch bucks, and he was just getting into the second story when the feed cut off. But like I said, I'll drive down there and I'll on my laptop and just have him record it, and I'll put it back in.
It's Tuesday. We everybody's lives are busy. Yep. And then we were supposed to have someone that was coming this evening, and then it didn't work out and they couldn't come.
Right.
And so, I kind of mentally, as my day goes, and another sidebar, it's hotter than.
It's hot. Yeah.
I mean, a job come along and I did a job and it was hotter than hell while I was doing that job outside for somebody. And then now I'm back on the tree stands, and I think the feels like is about 96 degrees out the past couple of days. And oh my God.
How big was the buck that you sent Chris and I?
I don't know. It's pretty nice.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever seen him before?
Yeah, I know the deer.
You know the deer?
I know the deer.
First pictures you've gotten of him this year?
No, lots of pictures.
Lots of pictures. Is he on the opener hit list?
Yes. Yeah, he's on the opener hit list.
Okay.
So
that's pretty awesome.
So right now cameras are kind of coming off. It's been kind of a rough summer. It has been so brutally hot. I mean, you just don't get many pictures when it's hot.
Right.
They just don't move around a whole lot,
I was driving. I was driving here, and this might sound weird, but I look at other animals like my cats or cows, and I kind of watch how they and I always try to like correlate it to a deer, right? So like if my cat walks the edge of the house, or it doesn't walk, a cat doesn't walk through the center of the house, right? Or I was driving here and I saw cows herded up and laying under. There was one tree in the field, and they were all crammed together under the shade.
I drove by a pasture full of sheep, and there's one tree in the pasture,
and they were smashed.
42 sheep were under the shade of one tree.
Yeah.
Yep. And my dog, I have a black mini golden doodle, Luna, which is short for lunatic, and she will come outside for a little while and she will say, "Fuck this." And she goes back inside. She's back inside. She wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So
I will say
this is kind of an F-bomb night. I kind of got a feeling. So,
who cares?
Yeah.
One of the things I was going to say about the podcast and the way we're trying something different tonight that doesn't utilize the internet. I don't care, to be honest with you, because I look forward to sitting here and talking, even if it, don't you look for? I mean, I genuinely look forward to it. And
when it's really good one, I feel like I want to share it with everybody. Yeah. And then it's kind of a little disheartening when
we're still sharing Ron's. I mean, it's still going to go out there no matter what. We're just going to miss one half of one of the stories of one of the deer. I mean, we're going to miss, honestly, probably 4 or 5 good minutes. The last 10 minutes were probably
that was
fluffy.
The smaller of the 200, so it really don't matter.
That was the smaller of the 200s. Yeah, love that. So we have a deer. We have moved. I don't know if it can it probably can't be seen on the camera. Can you see the podium?
No, you can see it fully.
We've moved that deer how many times, Joel?
7.
Yeah, we just keep moving it back and forth, because we want to get to it because it's Joel's deer. We actually ran an episode, and it was our first episode we ever lost. I
think so.
That was the reason why we got it all cut off, and we talked a lot about rubs and scrapes and that deer and how you killed that deer and why you killed that deer. And
in the background of Chris, you can go to a Chris shop. In the background of Chris, you can see like walnut cabinets and everything. And someone that hunted with me, like kitchen installer, and he just said, "Hey Joel, I am tearing out a kitchen, 2 doctors. I legitimately installed it like 5 years ago, and they want a new kitchen." So I got the whole kitchen like $5,000 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
And that's,
one pantry would cost $2,500 or $3,000. One pantry.
My new pantries from my house, they're $3,500 a pop for one pantry.
Yeah. So I like stored that thing forever, and there must have been like an island going off of that thing, and this was like part of an island, and it didn't get utilized in my kitchen, and it just sat in the back storage room of the locker room, and it was like, if I kill a big deer, I think I'm going to use this for a pedestal.
I assumed that come from like Rick or something. I didn't know where that come from.
It was part of the kitchen that I bought.
Gotcha.
And FYI, drilling through granite is a son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Even with the right bit.
a diamond bit.
Yes, with a diamond bit I bought. It's a son of a gun and everything.
Do you have to use water?
Nope, I did not. I didn't.
I don't know if you have to or not.
I didn't use water, but Rick was all stressed out about, I said, dude, just give me the post out of the bottom of it and I'll take it from there. And he like didn't think I could take it from there. So when he was here, was that the first time he'd seen it, or did he had seen it one time before, but he just gave it to me with the post, and I kind of, they probably always leave his place on the pedestal. Yeah. Yeah. So, but
Chris, everything looked good on your end?
It does. Yep.
Everything? Okay. Just, it's in the back of my mind.
Now we are trying to go to a storage device.
Yes.
Before we go to the cloud.
Yes.
To the thing. So I mean, we legitimately left here after Ron Lance last week and felt that it had all left here and was gone to...
Everything was uploaded, everything was processed, and then I got home and then it was gone. I don't know if it's because we run the video and the sound separately. I don't know if it's because the videos are 2.5 hours long and it's just so much and it thinks it's done and it's not done.
We did long ones on those first 6 or whatever and had no problem or whatever.
This is a much better, this is, I think, ultimately going to be better. This is better for, making sure that we always have the video, it's always there, and it just works out, and we don't have to rely on it.
Granted, we are kind of in BFE, and we rely on, I have Starlink, and...
It's good, though.
It is.
It's good. It's very good.
Yeah.
I like Starlink.
Me too. It's worked very good for me so far.
So,
all right, let's move on to...
Yeah. So, the deer behind you, what did that deer score?
Like 201 and 3/8. Basically, 180-something frame deer with about 20 inches of trash, something like that.
And he's a straight 10. I mean, he's
straight
a straight 10
with some cool kickers and matching stuff. And so back to I like I said, I've never really rut hunted other than when I was probably in my 20s.
Yep.
And prior to doing this as a business. And, prior to doing this as a business, the mentality was, November the 4th, 5th, 6th, because you work, I had my own plumbing and heating company, and you worked, and then I would try and start hunting some, not come until November.
Right.
And you just had some good rut stands and hunted the rut.
Right.
And so then it got to be, I started this, then the business got rolling, and then once the business got rolling and you're running lots of cameras, and not at the beginning, of course, when cameras are kind of prehistoric and in the beginning stages, but you start realizing that the rut's not all that's, if you're after a particular deer, the rut's not really the greatest time to chase a particular deer and everything. But I mean, I think I maybe one other deer I killed during the rut or something. Other than that, I
Well,
never really rut hunted at all.
You hadn't hunted in 10 years.
No, I had not. I had killed some does, and but I pretty much hadn't hunted in like 10 years.
And this buck was taken in 2023, not last year, the year before.
2023.
Yeah.
2023. And I had a property that was probably maybe a couple miles away. And in October the 12th, 13th, something like that, I had a picture of a big deer walking by a camera. He was just walking by it, walking away, and I just saw flyers. And that was it. One picture of them. And that kind of goes back to our talking about the way the rut plays out now and everything.
Yep.
And I think that they're rubbed out now. It's it's now October, the teens, and I think they all kind of go on a little journey looking for the first receptive does.
Right. They're walking around.
Yeah, I mean, that
things
journey
out.
might take them a couple miles, or that journey but they're just checking out areas smelling for receptive doe.
Right.
And that probably is what led them by that camera.
Right.
And and that was it. Nothing of them. And it is it's now about November the 5th, 6th, 7th, 5th or 6th, something like that. And some people, it might be Wednesday or Thursday of camp. And
they come in I was just talking to Justine about this. They come on a Sunday
Yep.
and they leave on a Saturday night.
They come Sunday evening, and then they cannot leave until Sunday morning.
Okay.
The following Sunday, so
Yeah.
they hunt 6 full days.
Gotcha.
Some of them will pull out Sunday or Saturday evening, or if they kill, they're gone or whatever. So, but I think that the skankarellas were here. You hear us talk about the skankarellas?
Yep.
And Nick Skankarella had killed. So Nick, evening, he's going around on pickups with me. So we're driving around, and I got somebody in a stand over vicinity in this vicinity. And we're probably 2 to 3 miles from where I probably had that picture. And I mean, it is like, it's getting dark. And Nick tells me to stop the truck. And
screams it, or
he
just
says,
stop the fucking truck.
Stop the fucking truck.
Yeah.
And there is this old overgrown pasture surrounded by corn. And I see the doe first standing there, and then he is about 50 yards behind her. And he's got his binocs on him, and he said, "Dude, I think I'm looking at a 200-inch deer, or I think I'm looking at a 200-inch deer." And I just said, "Does he have Does he have matching flyers going out both sides?"
Yep.
And Nick says, "Yes, he does." I said, "I know that deer." So he left her, jumped the fence, and just started walking to the northeast. And the property that he was on, I knew who owned the property he was on, just because I had worked on their furnace back in the days.
Okay.
And but there really wasn't much there, just kind of an overgrown pasture with a creek going through it. But all around it, I kind of knew the property, and it was a friends of mine's dad. And so if that was Wednesday or Thursday, come the next day, either Friday or Saturday, I stopped out there and asked if I could
hunt.
I said, not for business-wise. I said, there's this deer, and I would just like to hunt him personally myself.
Did you have to give anything for that?
Nope.
Did you have a time limit? Did he give you a time limit?
He gave me no time limit.
Basically, I said,
I was going to run a bunch of cameras and then go from there. If I got them, you know, I'm not going to just. My plan wasn't to start randomly slapping up stands and hunting.
Yeah.
My first thing was to just, hey, do you mind if I put up some cameras? Because I mean, I knew it was this is November the 7th or November the 8th or whatever. I mean, he may just been going through there and gone.
So is this a property that people might have overlooked just because of what it looked like?
Nah, he basically, I mean, people had hunted this and everything. And his grandson had hunted, but you know, his grandson now had kids and everything and stuff. And
so there was no one actively hunting at the time.
There was really nobody actively at the time. So, wet my whistle a bit.
Wet my whistle.
So, so I think the next day 5 or 6 cameras, you know, and I don't have all of my cell camera stuff is out for business. Yeah, you know, being used business wise. So I think I mustered up one from somewhere, and then the rest were just regular memory card cameras. So I immediately, I'm a big map person. So I just start thinking, all right, this is where I saw him. So I think this is the same deer that I probably saw here. You know, so there's a little woodlot here and a little woodlot here. So do you dare think that like a deer lives his life, you know, in this little woodlot or this little woodlot?
What's the size of a little woodlot?
I mean, I'm talking like 5 acres, 7 acres, you know, just little wood patches here and there. And so I start looking at the map, and without going crazy and walking all over the place, and there is oceans of standing corn. You know, I think it's been wet, and there's just standing corn everywhere. Lots of standing corn. So I just start, okay, this is where I saw him with a doe at.
Yep.
So there's also little country roads kind of intersecting some of these cornfields and everything. So I drive down the one country road, and where this, the backside of this hedgerow on this cow pasture that I saw him in seemed like a pretty hellacious trail, and it looked like, if I looked to the left to standing corn, it looked like I could see one hell of a trail heading into the standing corn.
This is on the road?
This is right off the road. So then I drive around the square to the other mile square, and turn down another road, still standing corn, and with a little woodlot. And almost a straight line from where I saw the trail go into the corn, I'm now on the next road, and I could almost see a trail coming out of standing corn.
Gotcha.
So I look to my left, and I see what looks like a pretty substantial scrape 10, 15 yards off the road, like right there.
Right.
So ding, 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 camera one.
Yep.
So it's like, this is going to be an easy camera to check. So this is going to be a cart. This is going to be just a chip camera. So I pop a Reconyx or whatever up right there. So now I'm starting to put a little bit of okay, so we're here. So I go back the other direction to where I saw him leave the doe and go. There was a woodlot behind the farmer's house. And I kind of tippy-toed around there. I could basically drive right past his grain bins, right past to the little woodlot, saw another scrape, boom, popped another good vantage point of everything, popped another camera up there.
How far?
A card camera. They are probably, those two cameras are about 1.5 miles apart.
How far from the house is the second camera?
I'm probably 500 yards behind the house.
Gotcha. Okay.
500 yards behind
mile
the
and a
house.
half apart between the two cameras.
Two cameras are mile
one's
and a half apart.
right on the road. The other one's okay.
Yeah. So I think I even then that first road that I was on with the cow pasture that wasn't mine, but the field on the backside, I think I popped a camera up there too.
In between them?
In between them.
Okay. But on the opposite side of what I'm guessing is a wood line. The opposite.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So you heard me say previously that there was a creek that I saw him on, and this creek went to cross a road and went to this. There was an old church and real nice timber that went through, but this timber was kind of chopped up into different property owners with like a house here and a house here and a house here. And I just kind of thought in the back of my mind that there's no way he is traveling through there, because there is probably a camera and a stand on every
little parcel.
Every little parcel through there probably has a stand. That's, so he's not going there.
Right.
So I kind of ruled that portion of real estate out. So then I go about half a mile down the road to another parcel that my guy owns, same, surrounded by standing corn, but it is kind of the backside of where the creek goes past all of these houses and property, and a half mile down the road it comes out. So I can pull my truck. I kind of find a route to pull my truck down in there, and they have bush hogged some down along the creek, and it's standing corn on both sides, but I can kind of drive a bush hog trail along the creek. And I'm driving along. I think I may have popped one other card camera up on a trail I saw crossing the road. And then I'm driving, and I'm 600-700 yards in, and I find another big scrape. And it's standing corn. The scrape is right on a creek on a locust tree.
Does the size of the scrape matter in the story? Or does the size of a scrape ever matter?
I mean, sometimes those ones on the edges it just seems like ones that are maybe more internal or whatever I don't know. It just seemed like a very active scrape.
Gotcha.
And so I still had the one cell camera with me. So that's where the cell camera goes. That goes right there on that
locust tree.
On the locust. It was, not on the locust tree, but it was across the road on the bush hog trail, pointed to the locust tree. The locust tree scrape. So it's now, I think, a day goes by, and now, granted, so the camera I just put out with the cell camera I just put out is probably 2 miles from where, 1.5 miles to 2 miles from where I physically just saw him with Nick Scancarella.
Right.
So,
how far? I'm sorry.
1.5 miles to 2 miles from where I saw him at with the Nick Scancarella. So, a day goes by, no more than 2 days. Boom. I have his picture on the cell camera. I got his picture on the scale camera.
Checking the
He's
scrape.
Working the scrape. I can't say that he is working the scrape, but he just, he may have just been scent checking it, and he just is right by it.
Anything else that is on that at that time?
Small bucks or whatever.
Okay.
So now I'm a little bit more excitement level. He just wasn't there. We saw a visual, and he's now 2 miles away or whatever. I legitimately have a picture of him on what I just gained permission for.
And he's how far from the very first time you ever got a picture of him in the beginning of the season?
2 miles.
2 miles.
2 miles the other way, or 2 miles south.
Okay.
2 miles south.
He's 2 miles from one direction, 2 miles from the other direction.
Yes.
So he's like in a 4 mile radius at this point.
Yeah.
Or diameter. 4 mile diameter.
Kind of 2.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of a big triangle or whatever.
Okay.
So, now we're talking, so now my wheels are now turning a little bit with a little bit of excitement. I haven't hunted in a while. Haven't really hunted, when you got tons of deer mounted and, you live through your customers. But it's kind of fun to
play the game.
All right, let's see if we still got this and can inject ourselves into this game.
It's like Lance Armstrong getting on his bike again and saying, "I'm going to go win the Tour de France or whatever, whatever they call it."
But in the meantime, you know, I hadn't hunted in quite a while.
Yep.
And didn't have a deer tag, didn't have, you know, nothing. And
Yep.
so it's like now I'm kind of to the point of incensed. And then I think maybe a few days went by, and I now pull a couple cards after 3 or 4 days. And I think in between where I got his picture on the cell cam and where I seen him and that one right off the road, I had his picture multiple times on that scrape, like working that scrape that was kind of surrounded by corn, but was yet only 10 yards off the road. Like I could see cars go by at night on the camera.
That was like triggering the camera?
Triggering the camera. Cars going by.
I love that part.
Yes. So now I'm kind of putting, you know, 2 and 2 together, that thinking, okay, so where I saw him at in this pasture with this doe, I kind of felt was where he takes him to. Once he gets one, that's where he takes him.
Yep, that's his bed.
That's his that was a bedroom.
Yeah, that's his
kind of where he
bedroom.
takes him to.
Yep.
Away from everybody else and kind of out in the middle of nowhere and not
Yep.
near anybody. So I kind of felt that I was in like his hunting ground area. We've talked about that.
Yep.
That I was kind of in his hunting ground area. So now I'm starting to, you know, look out 10 days, 14 days. I'm looking at winds, and I'm looking at I know that the camp that I have coming up is kind of my Asheville group.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My Asheville group, and you know, probably not going to be able to hunt during this time or whatever. But the group after that is pretty much was Ron Land, people that had hunted with me for 20 years. Like 4 people, and 3 of the 4 have hunted with me for 20 years.
The group that's like, Joel, go hunt. We want you to go hunt.
They basically would be like, Joel, go hunt. So, so that's kind of what I was preparing myself for. I was like, okay, so this, so now I'm using maps, and I'm like, where I feel that I got his picture. Then 2 days later, I got his picture again there, and this picture was corn stalks hanging from his antlers as he ran by the camera.
Oh, that's cool.
So we may have to add that picture here.
Yeah.
So now I'm like kind of like, holy shit. And I'm putting together where I think I'm going to kill this deer at. You know, I said, like, in this area on this wind, I think I will kill this deer if I put the time in, and if I so.
And you're hunting. You chose to hunt the area that you think he lives in.
No.
Where he hunts
where he is coming and looking for a doe.
Okay.
So
because your other 200, you killed him in the bed where you think he was bedding, right? Where he was living.
Correct.
Yep.
Killed him where
you thought
he lived. Where
he was coming back after
in October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was in October.
Yep.
So now to the I have that group is here that week. I may have gotten a picture of them, but way the direction where I said I had the camera 500 yards from the house of the farm. So I get a picture from the farmers, and they're filling silos and doing everything. And 10 minutes before dark one night, they send me a picture, and he is walking through open field like he's heading away from their farm and heading out. And I'm like, shit, he's freaking done here, and he's moving on.
Because they took the corn off.
The corn was still on around me.
Okay.
But the corn to the other direction had been picked and everything. But so here, my thinking is he was holed up behind their house. It had been warm. It had maybe been in the 70s.
Yeah.
And I was hoping he was just crossing the road, going to drink, heading to drink that night, because there's no water nowhere. That he was just that same creek that meanders through. He was now just going to get a drink. And
so you think he was living behind the farmer's house?
He could have been.
Okay.
He could have been.
Okay.
Little woodlot. He could have been living there. So at least for this time period, yeah. So they just saw. I felt he had hooked up with a doe. They just saw him, and I looked at that as time to do my work. Time to do my work here.
Yeah. Because he's been bed with a doe.
Yeah.
He's taken her to the bedroom.
He's here, and so now
that's a 24 to 48 hour roughly period.
Yeah. Yep. So the old fella Burn Jones, who you've heard me talk about, that got kind of put in with that group. Burn has killed, and Burn is now kind of Burn has been injected into the story, and he kind of knows what's going on.
Right.
Burn kind of. So I now have gathered stuff, and I'm getting ready to go pull in, do a quick scan, and pick out a tree.
Yep.
So I the first few days I felt I was going to be hunting, it was going to be like Southwest. And it was kind of a struggle for Southwest, but I think I could make something work. So I'm on my way there with Burn, and it is 1 o'clock, like November 12th, 13th, somewhere through there. And I'm with Burn, and we're on our way there, 1 o'clock. Let's just look at this cell camera real quick.
He's on it.
He's on the fucking camera. I've got a picture of him on the camera.
Right before you guys are going to pull up.
We're on our way there. So I don't head there.
Yeah.
So we turn around and come back. Burn's like, what? I said, you don't want to know, Burn. So I think I let the next day go. It's warm midday, and I'm like, I got to get this done. And so I end up pulling down there towards that camera midday the next day. Nobody was with me, and I got a stand hung that I felt would work for southwest wind that was coming up.
Are you in a wood lot, a wood line over a creek? What are you on?
Over, maybe 150-yard wide creek line between two cornfields.
Okay, so there's woods in between the two cornfields?
Correct.
With a creek running in between?
With a creek running through it.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yep. So, and road right there and houses right there. So basically what I just hung, I'm blowing towards a house.
Okay.
And one part of the story that hasn't been said is I got a picture of a guy that looked like, from Children of the Corn or something, or, looked like a mass murderer with camouflage bibs on the camera that the 200 is on.
Just walking around?
Looks like he's blood trailing or doing something.
This was how long before or after?
This was probably in between pictures, or, if I had a picture of him a couple days go by, I got a picture of this jamoke. But then...
What's a jamoke?
But then a couple days later, I have a picture of him again. So okay. I know that
he did
not shoot this deer.
Did they, just out of curiosity for gossip reasons, did you know the guy, or did anybody know the guy?
No idea who it was.
Nobody knew?
No idea who it was. Looked like somebody from Deliverance or something.
Yes. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
He did have bibs on and everything. So
nothing wrong with bibs, by the way.
No, nothing wrong with bibs. So my wind is blowing towards that house, and my entrance is going to be right by their house. Kind of slide through very little real estate and corn and into the stand.
Right along the road, right? No.
Yeah. I mean, I basically walk a long ways down a road. It's all about entrance.
Yeah.
All about entrance.
I mean,
I'm walking a long way right down the road, and where this house is, I am going almost right in the corner of their yard, and then right down the side of the corn, and then boom, right into the side of the cornfield, and down to my
Yep.
200 yards down to my stand.
Gotcha. Yep. Kind of
And
envisioning
my
this.
scent's kind of blowing towards their house with a southwest wind.
Yep.
And so it was getting towards the tail end of their hunt that week, and I thought I could climb in for a morning set. So I get in the stand, and it started getting a little bit of south in it, and I'm blowing over open corn, more open cornfield that I like, and I kind of felt that if they were crossing from road to road, I could almost 600 yards away, I could almost see the camera with the scrape on the other side of the road in the standing corn.
Okay.
Follow me?
Yep.
I could kind of almost see that. And I kind of felt if he was crossing the road and coming through standing corn, I kind of felt where I I didn't like it.
Okay.
And I really didn't like where I was.
Okay.
So, and if I don't like it, I don't stay with it.
So
Like
you were in there how long?
Someone had shot a deer and had to go help look for it. So I probably hunted, but I will say that was the first morning I had hunted in a long time.
Yep.
And it's pretty awesome watching the morning wake up and and the frost.
So you're in there an hour or two.
I'm in there 2 or 3 hours,
and you're like,
I saw a couple does and a small buck, and I just didn't like it, and got down, got out.
Okay.
Got down, got out.
Left the stand.
And left the stand. So now I'm kind of thinking that I've given up on, I don't like that stand, and I think the wind may have went to just dead south, and dead south I didn't like at all. So I just stayed out. So I'm now looking into the weather of the next group coming, and I saw some north starting to happen. So now we're getting into the 16s, 17s. We're getting into those days.
Yep.
So now I'm just thinking, all right, I got to find me something that's going to work for an end. So I drive my truck right in there, and I'm just looking and looking. I step out of the truck, and I'm looking. And so now I'm going to be on the opposite side of the creek. So I'm going to be on the south side of the creek, and with my wind blowing over standing corn that way. So I see something that I think will work. And but I'm probably, I don't know if we've talked about this, I was 5 feet in the air. I was legitimately, my stand is...
Yeah, just because I remember you saying this, just because of your...
There was the everything that was there, like the higher you went, the more, because out on the edge of the corn, there's like 10-foot scrubby autumn olive stuff and everything, just lots of scrubbiness. And it was like in this locust tree, 5 feet up, I had all of that as backdrop.
And everything else got up lit.
And then once if I went above that, I was just kind of, I would have been I felt I was standing out.
You look like a big ass branch just moving in a tree.
Yeah,
if you're, it's something you're very skylit.
Yeah, a wart on a pecker.
Yeah.
So,
a wart on a pecker. I like that.
So I remember, so if you're not very high, so I could see the scrape and the camera. I could see the scrape and the camera.
You've moved 600 yards closer.
And no, so
from the first stand.
No, I am probably 100 yards from the first stand.
Oh, okay.
100 yards from the first stand. Because if the whole thing's 150 or 200 wide, I basically have just gone
to the other side. Okay.
And so, but with not being that high, it's not like you're shooting over foliage, and you're not shooting over weeds and foliage. So I got in the creek, up the creek bank on the other side, and just started, knocking down everything, 3 feet and above, getting everything kind of knocked down where I felt it was going to happen or could happen. And then in the truck and got out of there.
Okay.
So that may have been...
Hung 2 sticks?
Yeah, 2 sticks, 3 sticks.
Yeah.
And so entrance of that was going to be, so I would be parking on another road now, and and I would probably get in 1 row of corn and come down, just marked it with Onyx, and kind of did a little trail, a couple tacks, and 20 yards. It's probably in 20 yards. So basically, in the standing corn, 90 degree, and in.
Yep.
So now I'm just waiting for North to hunt this. So sorry this is taking such a long story.
No, it's great detail. I love the detail. I'm loving it.
So I don't think day 1 of their hunt, the group that was there, I didn't do nothing. They hunted. Day 2 of their hunt, it was going to, and now I haven't had a picture of them or any confirmation now for 4 days or 5 days or nothing. But
are you losing enthusiasm?
No, I'm not losing enthusiasm.
What do you think is happening?
If he's there, if he's there, I'm gonna kill.
What do you think's happening in those 4 or 5 days? Why are you not getting him on camera? He
didn't go by my camera.
No shit, Joel. I meant
because he ain't on the camera.
Yeah.
So he's over there buying a house.
Yeah, he is.
He's over there buying a house.
So go ahead.
So
I'm listening.
So
I promise.
So I'm guys get in stand for the evening set of day 2 or 3, and the wind is supposed to go to northwest at about 2:00.
Okay.
2 or 2:30. So everybody's in, and now I'm just sitting in my truck out by the road, just waiting, and I'll get out and kind of hit it, and you can feel the air's changing, starting to get some north in it.
What time is this?
2:00.
2:00 in the afternoon.
2:00 in the afternoon. So I hit it, and all right, I think it's got quite a bit of north in it. I don't want a whole lot of west. I need some north. So it gets quite a bit of north in it, and I get dressed and grab everything and
go in,
head to the tree, and I am in the tree for, and there's somebody probably hunting 1.5 miles or 2 miles from me. And I go, I think Mark Funa, and I go get in, I'm in the tree, and I'm in the tree for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and a little buck comes right where I kind of feel it's going to happen. And I text and say, it'll die from right here. I just felt,
you had the feeling.
I'm now where I need to be. I said, he will die from right here. And 4:20, 4:30, somewhere through there, the opposite direction that the buck I just saw come from, right down the middle of the creek, I hear running in the creek. I hear, and he stops 20 yards in front of me in the creek.
And you're facing the cornfield, right? Or you're facing down the wood line?
I'm facing the creek.
Okay.
Kind of at a quarter.
Gotcha.
And he's right there, 25 yards, but kind of to my left, tight. And he doesn't waste no time. He explodes up out of the creek. I honestly don't know if he was so far down to the west that he saw my truck,
Oh,
that I don't know.
That's why he come running down.
I don't know. No way he smelled me,
right,
or anything, but I don't know if he was clear down there and he came out, and maybe because he could have come out way down there and seen my truck from 75, 80, 100 yards away.
Yeah.
And but running down the creek, and he stops, then he explodes out of the creek bank, and he's now about to be out of my life. He just went by the camera, and I yell pretty loud, and he locks him up, and I smoke him at 40 yards, 30. I think he was like 38 is kind of what
38
because
yards.
I had ranged and knew everything, and I felt like the backside of that that trail was 40, and he was in it, and I tell people to text me, call me, sit still, yada yada. I mean, I was down there where he was standing in 2 minutes. And I saw the and
How far did he go?
very little, very little blood, but I knew I hit him. I knew I hit him. I actually probably thought I was a little forward, if anything.
Yeah.
I'm middle guy, man, and I felt I was a little forward, and then I'm standing there and I'm looking, and I go a little bit, see a little more blood. Maybe I go another 30 yards, and then it's standing corn to the north of me, and I hear crashing through the corn and then stop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell was that? And I go up there, and a little more blood, and I stand there, and 80 yards away, 70 yards away, I can see horns and see him laying there. So he didn't go 100. Yeah, he didn't go 100
He
yards.
was done in what, 30 minutes?
Oh, no.
He was done in 5 minutes.
He was done in 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 4. I mean, he was done in 5 minutes.
Oh, it was
He
that
was done
quick.
in 5 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you walked up on him, pulled him out of the corn, and loaded him up.
So my friend who it's his father-in-law and I said, if I shoot him, I will be calling. And so, I mean, I'm sitting there looking at him, and I call, and my friend goes, hello? And I go, Ted is dead. Ted is dead.
Yeah.
And so
They're all
I
pumped.
I mean, I named him just because I don't name deer, but
Right.
this was like the initials of my
Gotcha.
friends.
Yep.
Kind of
Yep.
their initials
Yep.
ended up Ted. So
Yep.
I called him Ted. So,
Good.
yeah.
Did they all come out?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was there. And so I'm standing there with my deer, and he's driving through this bottom to get me, and probably runs a 165 by me.
You're kidding.
No, probably runs a 165 right by me.
Wow.
As he's driving in to get me.
That's awesome.
Driving in to get me. So, yeah.
How pumped were the guys when you
Oh,
got
my
back?
gosh. Yeah. Needless to say, that was a fun.
What was
a fun evening.
What was the feeling for you? It'd been so many years since you had killed a buck, and I mean, did you go, wow, I missed this?
I mean, I
did-
honestly kind of didn't think that would ever happen again. You
Yeah.
know? Didn't think that would ever happen again, as far as having that feeling, and
Yep.
and yeah,
That's
definitely.
awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
That's
Very
a good story.
Yeah,
That's a
very
great
good.
story. And killed him 5 feet off the ground.
Yeah, 5 feet off the ground.
I mean, he was probably a little bit lower than you in the creek, right? I mean, he was.
When he was in the creek, he was lower, but then when he bound out of the creek,
You're
and
5
I got
feet,
him
6
stopped.
feet.
I'm not a whole lot above him as
That's
far
awesome.
as his.
That's
yeah.
my kind of tree stand. I love that.
Yeah, you would like that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, I would.
That was a double you would have liked.
Yeah, good. So, no, that's awesome. We've been trying to tell that story. I think we've started the podcast how many times wanting to tell the story of that buck, because it's such a unique story. And I mean, what kills me is, your pictures, 10, 15 yards off the road, and being able to see him only hunting.
Because you don't very often see a deer during the rut, obtain permission, put cameras up,
Yep.
kind of figure them out, and
Yeah.
kill them. I mean,
Right.
that don't really happen a whole lot during
And then
during rut time.
And we talked about this in the past, but like you only hunted roughly 5-6 hours and you got it done. You've always talked about you spend all your time. You spend 99% of your time scouting, running cameras, observatory stands, hanging stands, changing stands, trimming, and then the hunting is actually very little.
Very
for you.
minimal part of it.
Yeah, we've always said you've kind of hunted 2 days for most of your bucks that are on the wall.
Pretty much. I would say, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, most it's all everything else, then kill, or
That
find them, do all the work, then kill them.
Yeah, that's someone that goes That's somebody that knows deer. You might know deer better than humans, honestly,
That's very well said,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. So,
Because they sometimes puzzle me and stuff.
yeah, the humans.
Yeah, the humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to, I was going to ask you about I think it kind of led into, we had talked about scrapes before, and I wanted to ask about scrapes. How much do you rely on scrapes when it comes to running cameras?
So, I mean, cameras. So cameras are right now, that's what I'm doing, or cameras are kind of starting to come up. We're approaching August the 20th, getting close to August the 20th. And as I'm now pulling cameras off mineral sites and starting to jockey for my openers, if I know that there is target for, we only got 3 people here for the opener, but so I would like to have my direction, Tim will have some his way, I got some my way. I'll try and have 4 or 5,
bucks,
big targets to go after. And now I might, during this time, I might pull cameras together and put them multiple cameras on locations where I got big
right.
deer.
You're trying to
try
pattern.
And tell a story and see what they're doing, and come up with the
biggest, best game plan.
Once they rub out, like we said, things will change or whatever. But I kind of know where bean fields where I'll still have some, this one-eyed deer that I would love to kill. My friend's going to be building a house back on where this deer,
right.
I think he was bigger last year, but I think he's 8.5. Could be 8.5 and just be a trophy. He might be in the 60s now versus in the 70s, but
that'd be a trophy.
But he's only got one eye, and how do you make it to 8.5 years old as a handicapped person?
That's
with
a trophy.
One eye. You think that he's only got one eye. We can hang on this side of the tree and kill the son of a bitch or whatever. But no, he is, I think, being one eye, I think he's kind of just extra. He's a one and done. You put up a camera, you get one picture of him, and he's like, you just got, damn, you caught me.
Yeah.
You ain't getting me again
See
on
you
that
again.
one. And, we almost got him killed. So not much there, a lot of crops. And when it's corn, it's about impossible when it's corn to try even hunt him.
Yeah.
And but it's beans this year. And when it was beans 2 years ago, almost got him killed. He was in front of the person. He came out 60 or 70 to the person from the left and was in the beans because there were still a lot of beans that were green in this bottom. And then the freaking thing bedded at like 90 yards at dark.
Yeah.
And person wasn't stealthy getting out, and I think they bumped him.
Gotcha.
Never saw him again.
So kind of it brings up some questions I want to ask you about when it comes to corn or bean fields or transitions in fields, especially against like wood lines or in woods. So what do you have there? You have a dynamic of corn to beans, or winter wheat to beans, or you have the field transitions. Then you have the edges of what could be a woods or the edges of a wood line. So does any of that play a factor into where you're kind of thinking or setting up when it comes to deer hunting?
You'll see if you post or what I did this morning. I'm kind of, we'll fling a little bait for the opener. I'm no dump. It kind of floors me that you see all the pictures I see on social media right now of people with deer in velvet, and they have piles
of
the
corn.
Size of this table
of
dumped
corn.
out right now.
Right.
Of them in velvet and everything. And I don't know. I've just never been. I'll roll in and I will, like, if I know. So say this alfalfa field.
Yep.
That.
It goes from
bucks love alfalfa. I kind of think, especially whenever I helped a person raise some deer and everything, and it seems like the older they get, just like a person, kind of the more they were about roughage.
Really? Yeah, more about like
it
fiber.
It just seemed like an older deer liked the roughage and the Yeah, just
Yeah,
so.
he's not going for the corn or the.
I mean, he will.
is.
He is, but he likes that too.
The greens.
Yeah. So so these deer, and at come September the 27th when we open, the corn will be turning brown. The beans are turning brown. Everything's turning. The leaves are starting to turn, and they get moisture from. So they're all about that. They're all about that alfalfa, that green and that alfalfa. So so if I kind of roughly know where he is, and I will probably, if I'm flinging a little bit of bait, I don't start super early. Because I kind of feel they get a little bored with it if you're like feeding them for a month or whatever or so. I'll just start, maybe a week, 10 days, 12 days. I'll go up into that corner of the alfalfa field and I'll just and I'll either drive my four-wheeler in, stay on my four-wheeler, or if I'm able to drive my truck right up there, I will get from the cab of my truck to the back of my truck
without touching the ground. Walking the running boards.
I kind of just walk the running board, hop in the back of my truck, stand back there, and
I learned that trick from you.
And I kind of think that I like it that versus pot at this time of the year. I kind of just like natural, and I think if you just fling a kernel here or there, I just think they're like more natural. It's more natural,
right?
So so then it's just kind of all about stand, bait, and geometry. I mean, so he's going to come in. If I think I know where he is, he's going to come in downwind of that.
Yep.
He's coming in downwind of that.
Right.
So if bait, stand, and if he's back here, he's probably going to come behind us and gig over. But if I know where he is, we'll hunt with an ozonics, and hopefully if a doe is coming from behind us, we kind of beat a few deer or whatever. But if our target is this way, I think that with the geometry of our stand, he will get out here, smell what he wants to smell, and
feel comfortable
will
to come
comfortably walk in.
Yeah.
So that's just gotta. So if you do bait, just gotta
know what direction they're coming
because
from.
they're coming in downwind of the bait. I mean, at least the ones you want to shoot are
right. But like I guess kind of going back, I mean, in general, if you have transitions in fields, does that mean anything to a deer?
He could freaking pop out right out of the standing corn.
Yeah, it has nothing to do.
They are edge animals, and and he's gonna probably walk a nice lazy way in or whatever and stuff. But because you see people like to create edge and create and
right
and stuff, and they're edge animals.
Yep. Was that the spot that we're talking about? Was the ones that you sent me videos of, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That looked like that's a brand new alfalfa field, right?
So it kind of surprised me. I really didn't know that it was even there because that had all been crop. Part of it, there had been an alfalfa field there that was probably 4 or 5 years, and then they took about, I said 15, but it may be about 10 acres or 8 acres or whatever of crop out and did more alfalfa.
God, you gotta love the farmer for doing that, right? That's fantastic.
Because you know what, alfalfa is expensive to plant. So,
and there really didn't look like there was a lot there as far as like being able
I'd say it just got probably the third picking probably just got done.
I meant like as far as like a tree stand or mobility, there didn't look like in the video there was a lot to pick from.
No.
It looks like it's pretty.
I've been in that tree, and a few have died out of that tree.
Yeah, so, that looked like a gangly tree with a lot of stuff going on inside.
Yeah, but I had never been pruned to shoot to shoot that way.
Yeah.
So I just had to do a little bit of
Because it was always corn right at the tree
correct.
stand.
It was always that. So that was always a standing crop or whatever.
Yes.
And
You were on the edge of the corn looking at the alfalfa.
yeah. So I saw that and I'm like,
yeah, that's gonna be
"Ooh,
fantastic.
That's money right there.
Good.
And then I sent you stuff today of ponds. You look at just seemed like over the past 3-4 years, we are in a weather pattern of it's been good. Crops are awesome. Like I said, I was out in a bean field today, and 5 feet, had to be 4.5 to 5 feet. It was between my waist and my nipples. It was, that's how tall the beans were.
Right.
And we've had good rains, we've had good heat, but I feel that the faucet's turned off now. We haven't had no rain in 2 weeks.
No.
And if you look at the 2-week forecast, if we don't get nothing tonight into tomorrow, there's like no chances. And then it just seems like once your atmosphere dries up, then because there was stuff coming to us today from Indiana direction, and it just went and gone.
Up. Yeah.
And disappeared. And it just seems like we're in that pattern again. So now I'm, over the intel from the last 3 years, now it's going to be about water.
Yeah.
And so cameras, I started moving stuff. I started moving cameras to water and stuff. So
I have the property up where I hunt. This is the time of the year where I start getting pictures because it starts getting dry, and then we have a pond. And then I know where they like to enter, and they like to drink from the pond. I always get them from where they're entering. And this is that time of the year between now and the opener of the season and the kind of the mid-October. This is where I'll start to get pictures.
Because we're a week or two away from ditches being dry, because I was on ditches today, and the water pockets are getting a little smaller and a little smaller, and
like the creek where I think that the reason why I don't get pictures is because there's a creek, probably 400 or 500 yards away, and it's going to dry up, and now they are forced to come to me, right? So I think I see it, right, and I never maybe I did understand that, but I didn't understand how important it was until you started talking
it's
about
it's all over social media now with ponds and everything and stuff. And I have a couple spots where, versus digging a pond, I'm just going to go to Tractor Supply and buy a 250-gallon tank, and I might partially sink it. I might go down that much or whatever, so that way as the water goes, but and they'll be in places where I can almost pull within, because if the 250-gallon tank is in the back of I basically got dialed in last year. I had a 250-gallon tank, and I could have 200 foot of hose with me, and I had a transfer pump, and I would get good solid full 3/4 inch hose, and it would still. I had a smaller pump and 1/2 inch hose, and it would take an hour. And between the 3/4 hose and a little bit bigger transfer pump, I got down to about 30 minutes.
Oh, nice.
So basically I could just sit there for 30 minutes and 250 gallons of water.
You're talking about using just like a cow trough eventually. Is that what
Correct.
Yeah. You don't think that doesn't, they don't, they're just like, thank God there's water. And they walk up and start drinking it.
They will get used to it very quickly. Yeah, very quickly.
I've
had friends kill big ones off of them.
Really?
Yep.
So I had another kind of a sidebar question when it comes to property, because it looked like the property you sent a video of could have been water, or it had,
There's water there. There's a creek.
Well, that's what I got to ask this question. I can use the restroom, but it looks like it could have been all water, or it could have been slightly flooded at one time. Did that
Which
property?
spot?
It just kind of looked like this. It kind of looked like that, and it was kind of all open. And you had dug your own pond in this kind of ditch down in the bottom.
That was a flood. That was basically a ditch where water
used to be.
Where water
could be
leaves. So to the south, when it big downpours, and I think that that whole field kind of comes to this
That
tile
spot.
that crosses the road and then goes through my ditch.
That was my question, was on properties that can hold water and dry up and hold water and dry up. Maybe that property that we're talking about is not a good example, but there are properties, you know where I'm talking about, that are kind of just a little swampy sometimes of the year and then they dry up.
Yep.
Are those ever good or bad spots? Do deer avoid those spots or not care for those spots because they're flooded, they're dry, they're flooded, they're dry, or do they just use them as they use them?
Nah, they just use them as
they
they
use them.
them.
So like if you have a spot that has a couple feet of water in it and then it dries up and then come fall it's okay to hunt, you're strategically trying to get in there and figure out how to hunt that. You don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
You never seen.
I mean, them are places that you might roll the dice and have a freaking food
plot.
might roll the dice,
Yeah.
have a food plot, and if it makes it, it makes it. If it gets flooded out,
Right.
I mean, in Ohio, we are to the point where the flood out is kind of done.
Yeah.
Kind of done. That usually is a certain time frame when that happens.
Right.
And now we don't get much flooding now, do we?
No. I was also thinking about like fall food plots. We were talking about fall food plots.
So those are like fall food plots. But the problem is those places, once they dry up, then they're then they're
Right.
very weedy and stuff.
Well, in general, like I was thinking about like, okay, so they used to say plant your fall food plots from July to August. And I'm like, man, anymore, I feel like the seasons kind of changed. It's almost like you almost got to plant it at the end of August, because that 30 to 45 days is going to carry into the middle of October, because we are warm all the way up to the end of October.
And the problem,
we need rain.
That's the problem. I'm going to say we're on about a 3-year run here of where fall plots don't get freaking shit on
Nothing
them
at
anymore.
all. Right.
They don't get crap. Like last year, the oats I plant in the standing corn and the standing beans, I had them. I had the bags, and I'm just waiting for rain to be in the forecast, and it never happened, and I never planted them.
Gotcha.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, I'm going to use the restroom here real quick.
take a break. And I think we need to, we do need to have some time and talk about when we're filming hunts, talking about that.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Because, I mean,
He does a good job.
It was way different when I learned from Miranda and what we did and all the,
Right.
where we went back and created the story. And
Right. Yeah. I think even the equipment, the amount of the change in the equipment, the size of the equipment.
I mean,
now you can
Yeah,
put
I
your
had-
phone up and get a better picture than what you could with a $50,000
right,
camera or
I
whatever.
had camera. Yeah, correct. I agree.
How big was the camera? I remember the camera being like on a freaking huge.
It wasn't that big.
It wasn't like that long and that
That was
wide?
the tree arm. I mean, you had a tree arm and everything.
Man, in my head, it feels like it was maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Whatever.
That was just you hanging on to it for dear life.
Yeah, I did use. I used to like to wrap it around my body,
You did. Like you used it for like
a belt or a safety thing. Yeah.
a safety rail. What were we talking about before we left?
We were talking about cameras, moving cameras.
Oh, yeah.
So you've gone from mineral sites.
Moved all the cameras to kind of water and
You're
kinda
looking
just-
and then you're looking at like 5 or 6 deer. Now you're trying to
Yeah.
put the story together.
Yep. And then I don't know if we're rolling.
Yeah, we're rolling. Yeah.
And then I just kind of as my opener hunt is done, then just roll into cameras, move to scrapes and food, kill plots and stuff.
Yeah, that was kind of, and we're gonna save it. But like on the episode that we had lost that story, we had gotten into the details of scrapes and talking about like scrape lines, rubs, how you've done some different things. You're pulling branches down. You like certain areas.
I
Maybe
mean, if there isn't,
something
because
there.
everybody, farmers now just go down the tree line and
Right.
clean everything down.
Right.
And if I want to scrape somewhere, be it if I pull a limb down or put a limb there or
Right.
whatever, I put the scrapes where I want them.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that because we had a lot of detail, and then we talked about like, okay, so if you have a scrape back here, and talking about wind direction and kind of skirting versus getting the actual picture of the scrape.
I'm not so much hunting scrapes.
No.
I'm just using them as the calling card for my picture for me to inventory when a stranger rolls in town.
Right. I think though, one of the things that from your story as you were talking about that deer, there was a lot of methodical thoughts about how you got that done with that deer. And I think, once again, we always say this, we just need to keep rotating the deer out. And we need to maybe even talk about customers' deer that, because I'm sure there's deer that your customers have killed that have given you a hell of a time getting them killed. And maybe it's gone.
I mean, whenever I have a particular deer somewhere, I'm just hunting him very cautiously week after week with different people.
Yes, until it gets done.
Until I get him killed.
Right.
Yeah. So
is there a particular deer that stands out to you that, we've talked about one eye, but like one that you just, maybe it took a long time to get it done, a lot longer? Or?
The fun part is in some areas, I think more so the woodlotty areas and stuff, there are deer that I can pass and they live. Like I can basically raise a deer.
What do you mean by that? I don't understand.
So in other words,
if he's
3.5 years old and I don't want him killed, I just put an orange X on him and
let him go
and tell no one to kill him. And then,
but that's based on the area, right?
Yes.
If you're
there are other areas where you're kind of surrounded by people and he might not be so safe,
or the terrain's not good enough,
right. But there's areas where it's kind of woodlotty and broken up, and I might have that woodlot and that woodlot and this woodlot and this woodlot, and kind of wherever he moves to, he's kind of safe, and I can kind of almost raise, pass him at 3.5. Then there's one that all right, kind of intriguing at 4.5. Let's just let him roll one more time and see what he, and then there's one on the wall that, that we ended up killing at 5.5. And
you knew him at 3.5?
I think we actually shot and wounded him at 4.5, and then he lived, and then killed him at 5.5.
Gotcha.
And he was bigger than he was at 4.5. So
really,
yeah.
Any type of deformities on him from being shot?
No,
because that's a thing, right?
Yeah,
I mean that can be a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, that was we wanted to come back for a quick ending, and that was kind of it. So, all right, great episode. Thanks, Joel.
Yep.